Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the United Hour. It's your boy Greg B here. Sorry, we're having a couple of technical difficulties, but hey, we're keeping everything nice and safe. We are going to have a discussion today about a lot of different things that have transpired. It is pretty much a new era at Manchester United. Officially, Ed Woodward is no more as of today. Well, as of last night, as of midnight last night, he is no longer the CEO of Manchester United Football Club. He has been replaced by Richard Arnold. And we are going to discuss how we viewed his reign with missed, what were the high points, what were the low points. We're going to have a lot to say on that. And also, we will be discussing Donny Van De Beek, everyone's favorite, and not so favorite in some cases, everyone's favorite. I'm not going to be doing this by myself. Of course, I have a few of my friends here online today. I am joined by President Chad
Yo, yo, yo.
and the referee Darren. What's going on, gentlemen?
What's up? What's up?
All right.
I real excited to talk about what we're talking about today.
Nice, nice, nice.
Pull my chair properly.
Boy, this ain't no GQ photo shoot. Behave yourself. Eh? All this pose up thing with this, man.
Comfortable with this.
Oh my goodness. Hey, we ain't able. We're gonna probably have a couple more guests joining us later on, but for now, we're here. With this trio here of gentlemen here, distinguished gentlemen at that. We're gonna be dealing with these matters. So let's not waste any time. Let's get into the meat of the matter. Like I said, Ed Woodward is gone. So, gentlemen, Ed Woodward, who has been the CEO of Manchester United from at least, I believe, 2013, right? Because he did take over from David Gill after his departure, along with the retirement of Sir Alex Ferguson. Now, we've seen a few things under Ed Woodward's tenure. We've seen some statements made, some signings made as well, too. Some have been great, some have not been so great. Gentlemen, how do you feel about this finally being official? Prez, I'm gonna start.
Can I go first, Greg B?
By all means, President. By all means. And we're being joined by CJ as well, too. CJ, what is up?
Right here. Shameless. Shameless.
Wow.
Hit the road, Ed. Hit the road, Ed.
Unbelievable. It is one of those. It is one of those days. It is one of those days. Gentlemen. All right. So, Chad, get into really what you need to say. Say how you really feel, sir.
No, well, that's it. The Edward one has been a disaster for Manchester United. A complete and utter poop show for Manchester United, right? Edward Wood came in, he promised Sir Alex Ferguson and Gill that they're gonna go with the old school view of things. They're gonna have a long-term project. They brought in Moyes. He got rid of Moyes. Okay, fine. They decided, okay, we're gonna keep what's his name? The former player. Giggs. They're gonna keep Ryan Giggs around. So he will be the long-term solution. And then we're gonna have Van Hal, be train him up in the ways of proper management. Lo and behold, they fired Van Hal, tore up the whole playbook that Sir Alex left for him. And Ed decided, this is my show, I'm going to do it my way. And what have we had? Over $1 billion spent. No proper long-term plan at Manchester United.
No league titles.
No genuine title challenges. We've had 2 second-place finishes. And in both cases, there was no genuine title challenge. Except for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, we have not won top 4 back-to-back. You know what I mean? So it was just mess. And Ed Woodward has presided over blatant mismanagement, overspending, giving renewed contracts to the likes of Jones and other players, Pereira and others, Matic, Mata, just wasting our money because the Glazers don't use their money. So he started off by helping the Glazers buy Manchester United hoisting debt upon the club, and he has ended his tenure overlooking one of the biggest wastes of time and probably the go down on record as the worst January, both because of the lack of transfers and in what's in the news at present. So he is just his tenure has been horrible. And as far as I'm concerned, hit the road head and don't let the door bounce you on the way out.
I hope it bongs
Well,
them.
CJ, you're not nice. Ref, let me come to you on this one. I think if you had to put in a situation, if there was a book to write how to not run a business, I think this whole scenario with Ed Woodward's tenure in charge of Manchester United would probably sum up perfect examples of what not to do. Wouldn't you agree?
I would agree to an extent to that, in that Ed Woodward was in the wrong position for a very long time. Right person, wrong position.
Okay.
Ed Woodward was the guy that could create money. Also, you see, wait, you see the draw here? I think it's our money in here. Now. Don't just, and Ed Woodward would just bring money out of that.
Hey,
Money
you see
out
this
of
people,
nowhere.
you see you only walking out here in singles dread. People go figure that we're not
Yeah,
gonna have
so,
the strip. We're not gonna have the strip club mentality on this show. Eh? Don't we doing that too much?
and I state my opinion. I state my opinion.
All right, sir. All right,
Ed
sir. All right.
Woodward was
Go
the
ahead.
guy that could create millions of dollars out of seemingly nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It was he the guy to head the football department of Manchester United?
Hell.
No. Hell no. Give him the finances, the accounting, the economics, give him all that. Anything fiscal related, give him that. But he was the right guy, as in his skills and his competencies and what he can do, just in the wrong department. And yes, that ties into what you're saying, Greg, how not to run a business. Because in a business, you need the right people in the right places.
And I think that's the issue there in itself because you know that the guy is good from the financial standpoint. And I mean, if we have to give him credit where it's due, that's one thing he was able to do when it came to getting sponsorship deals, when it came to getting endorsements, when it came to basically selling the brand of Manchester United. Not that it necessarily needed that much selling, but Ed had a way of being able to accelerate that to a point. And
Yeah.
you have to give him kudos for that in that regard. But from other aspects on hand, everything else seemed to just be a hot mess. CJ, I think what I'm gonna ask you is probably gonna be one of the most difficult questions that I could ask anybody concerning Ed Woodward's tenure at Manchester United. Are there any positives that you could possibly pick out from his time there outside of the whole financial aspect? Is there anything that you could really say that kind of paints him in some sort of a decent light? Yeah, I told you it was going to be a hard question.
In the sense that, yeah, he gave us a lot of money because the amount of deals Ed pulled off in terms of sponsorships, you have to give the man that. Sponsorships was good. You gotta give him that. That's what I'll basically say. But it's really just wrong, good person, wrong place. Because really and truly, the man really doesn't have a football brain, and we let someone with no football brain manage our football business, and that is really just not good. Because when you look at it, if he was handling the business side, the sponsorship sides of it all, and we had someone who was doing a director of football, I wouldn't have any problems with Edino. But he didn't do that. So I do have full problems with the man. To me, Edward would come like, and I hate to say it, he come like the Birdman of football business. He was just doing too much. Like, Birdman makes a lot of money, but you see managing artists, aka players, hell no. Birdman can't do that, and Ed can't do that. So
I don't know why. I don't know why you just gave me that mental picture. Next year, you see Ed pulling up in a radio station and telling people to put some respect on your name.
Yeah, I'm rubbing his hands together. Personally, if we had Suge Knight in director of football, we was getting things handled.
Yeah, we might have also had some assault charges attached to our name too. I mean,
Ronaldo
we already have that in another aspect, but we won't go down that road.
Ronaldo would have Ronaldo would have been signing for United long before, yo. I'm telling you, man.
You want a Suge Knight character at
Yeah, that's it.
It's like
Manchester
Sign
that.
this
United?
contract.
That's a bit
Sign
of an
this
extreme, wouldn't
contract.
you say? That's a bit of an
Oh,
extreme, wouldn't you say?
man.
Because
I
it's
don't
like,
want some
bro,
idea,
It's Suge
but he would
Knight.
have done a better job. I just saying you know that.
I
Bro,
mean,
if
bro,
Suge Knight
that's insane.
if
To
Suge
see
Knight was
to see someone like
what you
Suge
want,
Knight going on and pistol whipping executives and like, give us your player, or we're gonna
Think
beat you.
about
Nah,
it.
nah, I
You
can't.
think you think Pogba would have demanded 500? Should maybe that watching in the corner like 5 what?
Pogba would have been
Pogba.
running scared, and I think well, you know what, Mino Raiola might not have been here right now if
Exactly.
anything. So
But in all
that's a
seriousness,
whole
I'm
nother
not
story
really.
in itself.
Yeah, but in all seriousness, besides these sponsorships now, that is it. Eden really making me
I
feel some
mean,
kind of way.
it's safe to say that it's one of those situations where we just kind of have to realize that we sat through
Can I
a
answer
lot
that
of
question?
yeah. Mhm. Say again.
Can I answer that question you asked CJ?
Yeah, Chad,
Yeah.
go ahead. By all means, I would love to have further opinions
Ed
on this.
Ed has had a lot of success.
Hmm.
And I'm not talking about the money side, but
Right.
all of the success Ed has had is accidental.
wow.
He came
Wow.
off the rails, right? And when he came away from the game plan, because not only did Van Gaal leave, we remember that Giggs left. Now, maybe in hindsight, when we look at the challenges Giggs have, the legal challenges he has now, maybe that was good, the best thing for the club. But at the time, the plan was we were training Giggs up to be the senior manager. Good. So we lost
Yeah,
Van Gaal, we
true.
lost Giggs. We go on and we got Jose Mourinho. Under Jose Mourinho, we won a European trophy that we never won before. A
That's
BTEC
true.
trophy is not something that we really were looking for. But that again was by luck. That was not strategic planning and management on
No.
Ed's part because he never gave Jose Mourinho all the tools that he wanted to work with. Right? He got rid of Jose. He brought on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as a temporary manager. That was his ambition, temporary.
Hmm.
Because of how well Ole did, he gave him the club, gave him the management position permanently. And Ole was able to attract the likes of Varane, made the place so attractive that the likes of Ronaldo chose to come back. Let's make it clear. We didn't go after Cristiano Ronaldo. Cristiano
Yeah.
Ronaldo came and said, hey guys, I'm coming back. And it was just a matter of saying, okay. Right? So he created, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer created an environment that was positive player wise. I mean, we know coming to the end of Ole's tenure, things were horrible. But the bottom line is Ole created the environment that allowed us to be able to bring in the likes of Varane, that made us attractive to the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo to say, you know what, I want to go back to Manchester United at this late stage of my career. Ed wasn't responsible for that. That was all on Ole. So everything positive that happened, us, that was accidental. It wasn't planned, it wasn't forethought, it wasn't anything. And we could only hope that Richard Arnold has learned from Ed Woodward.
Please.
And what we hope that Richard Arnold learned from Ed Woodward is simply this. This is how not to do it. Your specialty is accounts, manage the corporate side, and leave the managing of the football side to football people. And we see the likes of Ralph coming in, and we hear that Murto and these guys are getting a little more influence over things, right? So let's hope that Richard Anna learns something, because I always say you could learn something from people who do crap,
Exactly.
You only have your role models don't only have to be people who are successful. You could learn something from failures as well.
True.
And let's be real,
True.
Ed has failed Manchester United. Hopefully Richard Arnold looked at that and realized, I don't want to be a next one of you. So let's do something different.
It's like,
so let's
yeah,
hope.
because I mean, everybody knows that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different outcome. So let's just hope that Richard Arnold really truly does learn from this whole situation. I mean, looking forward now that he's no longer, now that Edward was no longer gone. I mean, you already touched on what on Richard Arnold's position, him taking over, and like CJ also said, that he's not going to necessarily be involved in the transfer negotiations and stuff like that. He's going to leave that to him. I mean, is there anything else you would kind of have as an expectancy level from Richard Arnold at this point, or are you just satisfied with him just dealing with the financial aspect of things?
Well, Richard Arnold is going to be the new CEO of the club,
Mm-hmm.
So he's dealing with the financial things, but it's up to him to delegate the football stuff. The Glazers are not hands-on owners. So he has said he is going to hand off the football side. Let's hope he sticks with that. One of the other things where Richard Arnold, from my understanding, Richard Arnold actually is a Manchester United supporter. And he's actually somebody who looks at football and, he cares about football. So, hopefully from that perspective, all of that is going to serve us better than Ed Woodward, who I don't get the impression used to watch football at all before his involvement with Manchester United. And he definitely was not a Manchester United supporter before he became involved with Manchester United. So let's see how it goes.
All right.
I mean, and to me, this last transfer window really put the exclamation mark on Ed Woodward's tenure. We were not able. It was another unsuccessful window again.
Yeah, and I think we have a comment here from Robert Wallace. Rob, good afternoon, bro. He's saying that good afternoon, guys. He's saying, first off, ref, go back and do the people them work. Like apparently he paid you. I don't know. Yo, that bad. So, secondly, he also says that I think United is in for a very rough next few years of absolute failure. Ever the optimist, are we, Robert? But yeah. So, I mean, I'm inclined to agree a bit, because it's gonna take a lot to really kind of get things back on track for Manchester United when it comes to on-field success. Financially, we've shown that we can reaffirm ourselves as regards as a force, because we have so many different sponsorship deals that are coming into place. The team viewer, Aeon's still with us. We have this new one that's coming in. I think is DXC. I think is the new one that's supposed to be coming in soon as well too. So there's well, yeah, that I'm not sure the exact name, but that's what I heard. So we still have Kohler as well too on the sleeve. So it shows that there's so much different financial investments tied into Manchester United. So financially, we won't be necessarily cash strapped, but the main focus for us, like every other Manchester United fan, is what is done on the football field. And there ain't enough money that you can make any back to equate to us expecting more out of what we've become accustomed to, was challenging for the Premier League, challenging for the Champions League, just challenging for silverware in general. And it's disappointing to see that we seem to have fallen far back. You figure with the transfer window we had in the summer, with the likes of Varane, the likes of Sancho, Ronaldo coming back, you thought this would be the year where we could really start to say, hey, we're going for everything. Now we're just hoping and praying that we have a decent run in the Champions League and that we make sure we stay in top four. And that, for any Manchester United fan, is subpar to what we've grown accustomed to over the years. But we just have to see how things play off in the future, and hopefully the ship gets a little bit more steady. Ralph is trying to do what he can to trim down the side a bit, and get certain players in, get certain players out. Unfortunately, he was let down because I believe he desperately wanted a defensive midfielder in this window. Nothing. And on top of that, Jesse Lingard didn't even leave the way he wanted to leave, because he was interested in going to Newcastle. Club blocked that move. So I'm just hoping going forward there are better decisions being made. And as we are on the subject of players, before we get into that, I believe we're supposed to have a word from our sponsors. So And of course, the fan club where you can get all your special memorabilia for your favorite football fan in your life. And if you want to get a little something to treat yourself as well too, they deliver. So check them out, see what they have. So guys, we are going to get into this discussion. I aptly titled "The Curious Case of Donny Van De Beek." Now, a little background on this whole situation.
That's how
Donny
he
Van De
pull up
Beek.
his shirt. That's how he pull up his shirt.
Hey,
He right there. He like,
Darren is a
yeah.
little too excited about this whole thing. All right. I feel like he just wants to gloat because Jesse Lingard's still here. But anyway, so enough throwing shade. For those who don't know, Donny Van de Beek currently into his second season as a Manchester United player, and the situation with him is somewhat confusing. I mean, this is someone who we had seen during his time at Ajax has been considered probably one of the most intelligent football players that we've seen in a long time. His time there showed that he's able to play and be a very good link player. He was instrumental in Ajax's run to the Champions League semi-final back in 2019. He's come to Manchester United. He was bought for 40 million, and since then he has been unable to really nail down a place in the starting 11. He's had moments where he's come off the bench, and he's shown what he's capable of in spurts. But for some strange reason, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Ralph Rangnick both seem to not be willing to give him a proper starting place in the team, whether that's down to what he's doing in training or whether I mean, there has been statements from Ralph Rangnick saying that they don't see him physical enough for the Premier League. I mean, the man bulked up just to say that he can handle such physicality in the league. So it's coming across as somewhat shocking that for some strange reason he can't seem to get a proper chance. And the times that he has been given opportunities, he's been playing more with the French players. He hasn't been playing with the likes of Bruno and Paul Pogba and those on a regular in the starting 11. So, unfortunately, I still am scratching my head over this. The duo of McFred has been the ones that have been keeping him out of the team. Why? Who knows? So, guys, as we all know, with the ending of the January transfer window, Donny has secured a loan move to Everton. So, what is it that we can expect, or what can we hope to expect from Donny with that move? Is this an opportunity for him, or will it be the same old at Everton? Darren, since you're so eager, I'm going to start with you.
Where you want me to start with this?
You just go ahead and say how you feel, sir.
Um, I'll start from more recently, then go straight back. Uh, I want Van der Beek to prove all the naysayers, the doubters, the people who don't
like
believe
you,
in.
like you.
I want Van der Beek to prove them wrong in that he is a quality player. He is somebody who could have a serious impact on a match, whether he's starting or if he gets more than 5 minutes. Donny Van de Beek is one of those engine room players every team should have. Those creative players, those one of those players where he could pick up pass with his back face to goal kind of players. And his tenure at Manchester United so far is not reflective of his ability and his potential. So I would want with this loan move that he really shows what he can do and make a serious case to be a starter or a serious rotating, a serious squad member where he's guaranteed to get minutes each game or every other game or where we need him be, not just we're gonna play because we have nobody else.
Right.
So I would want with this loan move that Van de Beek really shakes the Van der Bench moniker and really plays football
I mean,
subjectively.
yeah,
And
correct.
here we go. Donny Van der Beek, what? What really? What is it? What is it? Because I've been in many circles, and the only card, there are only two cards they could beat for Donny Van De Beek. Card number one, well, he come from Ajax. What that's supposed to mean? You come from Ajax and what? And what? You understand? Let me say somebody come from Derby Connection and cause it more than Van De Beek. Where you go say you go downplay his end pro because it's from Connection? Come on, man, be better than that. Two, he never get much chance. What did he do that he deserves chance? So you need to tell me, Greg, you deserve, if you are on your job or people's job, you deserve promotions just because you work in there, not because of what you have done for the organization. It is a meritocracy, people. We're not going to, I don't want people to go on this field trip because Donny Van De Beek and his soft joke face and bloody hair that he should get minutes. You understand? He should get minutes. Oh gosh, look Van De Beek on the bench again. What else is new? You know what I knew the writing was on the wall for Van De Beek? After we got work from Liverpool. Everybody in the fields and feeling depressed and down. What is Van De Beek doing? Running suicides on the field. What?
Ref, do you need a hug?
Emotional, damn it! You want some therapy?
No, but what killing me? What killing me?
You understand? And I had to sit here, fellas, and let people tell me that is the club at fault. No, the club should show some responsibility. Yes, but when are we going to question Van De Beek as to why you are still in, why people are still figure because you come from Ajax or you still in this Ajax mold, that would automatically translate to Old Trafford. No, you need to adapt. You need to change. You need to recognize here what there is something I am doing or not doing in Old Trafford as to why am I not getting minutes. Even furthermore, there comes a point in time where you have to recognize here's what this place is not for me. I am getting out. I don't want to loan. I don't want to come back here. I am gone. You have to recognize the environment you're in, and it's either you adapt to that environment or you leave the environment. When you are in Rome, you do what the Romans do or do not go to Rome. You cannot tell me, you and Ajax, and you probably feel you've outgrown the Ajax mold. You've outgrown what Ajax could do for you. And you say, you know what? I want a new challenge. And you look across to England. You look across to England and you say, yeah, boy, Manchester United is the team for me. Me, a player who is very, oh my goodness. You have to know where you're going. You have to know where my skills will be most maximized, or you just go in there and counting the clock on the wall.
All right, you said a mouthful there, ref.
You're getting paid, and no problem in there. You're getting paid, but you just.
Well, what else do you want him to do? It's not like he can just run on the bench, run off the bench and play himself in the game.
Greg, Greg.
All right, hold on. Save all that fire there, ref. Save all the fire. I want CJ to get his piece in.
So this man just wants him. So this man just wants him to shut night Ralph and Tammy Corner and 18 miles now, man. Because here what is killing me. You know what making me, you know what killing me with this man around? Although this man singing like JR every time he sees Stone Cold do something wrong. Same be one time behavior. Like, hey man, relax. Like, dog, what don't he do to get this man mad?
No, I'm trying to figure out.
My thing is,
Darren, did you have a thing for Dennis Bergkamp's daughters? I don't know. What is
it?
I just
I'm sorry. CJ, go ahead.
All right. That was like some emotional damage there, King, but
yeah, boy.
But I understand where Darren coming from with his perspective. I don't say no to it, but we had to understand something. He talked about the environment at United that we have to adapt. Let me get one thing straight, right? I see Donny like how I saw Bruno when he now came in. Remember the first game? Remember the first game he played against Watford? He was
Right.
doing runs. He was doing passes, and men couldn't understand. But what the hell?
It was actually his first game was against Wolves, eh?
Yeah, sorry, Wolves.
Yeah.
Wolves. You remember when everybody just didn't know what movements this man was on? Like this man was doing progressive runs and everybody was watching. I'm like, what's that? So me, I say we cannot tell him to do like the Romans because personally, if anybody know the history of the Romans, if United is Rome, then we are under the Nero era of Rome because boy, this ain't looking good. Not Constantine, Nero.
Rome is burning.
This is Nero.
Yes.
So if this man do like the Romans, I really afraid for the man quality because he will be better off. Because if we watch certain games, or you have to watch certain games with Donny, this man is be making runs that people don't understand, and commentators have come to say that when you see Donny play, it's not that he's not making the impression. It's just the team really don't know what he's going to do. And no disrespect to McFred and especially my player Scott, but I'm not going to put Scott football intelligence the same par as Donny. For Donny to come down to Scott level, he has to kind of dumb down himself and just be very straightforward, which...
No. I don't agree with the term dumb down. It is adapting.
Bro,
it is
what system of football we have?
Gentlemen, before I have the producer mute all of your mics, let's all just kind of calm down here.
With all due respect, he talking about a system. Our system is swim call, bro. A swim call is be more organized than we system.
Wow.
Why is Donny going to go to that level?
I don't agree with the term dumb down.
But sir, you are asking this man to downgrade from Stark Technologies to swim call. It can't happen like that.
Mr. Man, what I am asking VDB to do is to go in the cave and create an arc. That's what I'm asking him to do. I'm not asking him to go into Stark Industries and start.
Which cave? The Bat Cave?
I'm asking him to go in the cave where you understand. Go in the cave.
Apparently, the ref wants him to go to the cave where the Neanderthals started fires. That's what you want him to do.
You understand? Not go in the Avengers Tower. It is just adapting because TJ, if you at your work job, at your workplace, if you recognize that somebody else hasn't have the same level of competencies as you, it is you adapting to their skill level. You're not dumbing yourself down in it. You are adapting to the skill level of your co-workers. And if you want your skill level of your co-workers to increase, either you teach them a few, or you say, here what? This is what you could do. You do this well.
But bro,
you understand? And you bring them up rather than I feel I so good that I just go and play at your level because that is all you're capable of.
Bro, that is you know you trying to do me? You trying to do like when Stark they tell Peter, hey, you're done with the suit. But at least Stark gave him a chance. We are not giving them a chance, bro. You tell any man to go and make a suit in the chance. My
deserve a chance.
Gentlemen, I appreciate the passion. CJ, I appreciate the passion. But I want to go back and touch on a comment Jeffrey Griffith said here, and I want Chad to tackle this one. The comment talking about DVD is better than most of the United players. Chad, do you agree with this comment?
Yes. I do agree with this comment. I agree with comment because Donny's vision is excellent. Donny knows where people are without looking. His ability to pass is very good. His ability to ball retention, his trapping is very good. His short range passing is excellent. His runs, his visions of 1-2 give and go is excellent. However, as talented as Donny is, you have to adapt, as the ref correctly said, to where you're playing.
Fair.
It don't matter if I could have the ball skills of Messi. You understand? And the passing ability of Ronaldinho. and the who else? Well, I don't want to say shooting ability, but though, I could have that. I could be made of those two kind of players.
Right.
If when I pass the ball and I make the run, I am not going to get it back because the player I'm passing the ball to is not interested in playing tiki-taka football, or that is not in their DNA.
Right.
What sense does it make passing the ball and make the run?
That's a good point.
So we may say, yeah, Manchester United players not intelligent enough, and the club this and the club bringing down Donny. But a real intelligent player finds a way to lift up his teams. And I want to use Michael Jordan as an example.
Right.
Jordan played with all kind of people. Not everybody was as great as Pippen.
Mm.
Not everybody was a great shooter as Paxson or Anderson. But whoever the team brought into the mix, Jordan made them elevate their game. You know how much people played well in Chicago when Jordan was there, and when Jordan left or when they were transferred, their career just tanked because Jordan made them better. He found out, all right, this is it. I want to talk about just one little thing. I want to go back in history. You remember Van Persie and Rooney?
Oh
right?
yeah.
Van Persie and Rooney used to talk to each other, and I remember seeing Rooney do an interview. I think it was with Ferdinand, and he was saying, Van Persie always used to be making these runs in behind, and they were talking, and one day Rooney told him, you know what, you make that run, I'll find you. And Van Persie made the run. Rooney hit him across from the halfway line.
Yeah, that was the volley against Aston Villa.
Brought it down and finished it, right? And so even if you have challenges, let's say with the overall player of the team, you could forge relationships. when Paul Pogba came, he knew the ability of Ibrahimovic. So he used to hit that ball over the top because he knew Ibra could bring down that ball in a crowd. And he had a lot of assists to Ibrahimovic, right? We see Bruno Fernandes finding players. He knows where to put the ball because he knows where the players are going to be and what they're going to adjust to. Donny Van De Beek seems to me, so far, like this is how I know to play. And yeah, all they need is step up all the game. So if people don't step up the game, don't get me wrong, I see Donny Van De Beek making real good runs. I see Donny Van De Beek hitting ones and going for the two, and you're not getting back the ball. But my question is, you're gonna keep doing that?
Yeah, but here's my thing, Chris.
Change.
Here's my thing, Chris. I mean, don't you think it also would kind of help if he was actually given more time with the actual first team to kind of have like a chemistry with some of those players? I mean, where does it help if you know that you're this intelligent of a player and then the manager keeps dropping you from McFred? Maybe, just hold on. Let me finish this point.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's probably because that Scott and Fred decide to, hey, I'm gonna work a lot harder on the field. I may not have that level of intelligence to have a forward pass like Donny, but when it comes to doing my other jobs, breaking up play, helping them start to progress up in a counter attack, which is probably some of the best parts of their game where they excel at. Donny may not be as have that level of, in their mind, had that level of physical grit, but you won't know unless you really give him that opportunity to express himself with the likes of the Brunos and the Pogbas and the Rashfords and all these guys.
But
If he was given a proper run within the first team properly, and not just the 5-minute cameos or the half or the 45 minutes in a cup game, don't you think you would actually probably see what he's really capable of before you make that judgment that he's probably just has to deal with what's in front of him, instead of actually saying, okay, you know what, I actually add something to this team that the coach can use? I think in itself it's kind of a stretch.
You know what I think happened to Donny Van De Beek?
Mm-hmm.
In practice, Donny does exactly what we see.
Right.
He plays the 1-2s, he makes the nice runs, and in practice, Donny therefore looks attractive as a 10. Right? Because the person that plays those 1-2s and make those runs, you don't want to be an 8 or a 6. You want your 8 or your 6 to stay in midfield.
Right.
Your 10 could push up and play off 9 or get into those positions. So because Donny Van De Beek is so good at that, the only position that Donny Van De Beek would be seen as being proficient as by the coaching staff is on number 10. Our number 10 was Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes is one of the more durable players on the team. He don't get injured and he don't run out of steam. He don't run out of gas. So as a result, let's be real. Look back in your mind. When Donny started, Bruno was on the bench, not so?
Correct.
All the games. When Donny comes on, it's because they take Bruno off, not so?
True.
That tells me that our coaching staff, not just Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, even under Ralph Ragnick, sees Donny Van De Beek as a 10. We may complain, oh, Donny's a better ball player than Fred and a better ball player than McTominay. That is true. Nobody with any kind of football knowledge would dispute that. That is a fact. Donny Van De Beek is a better football player than Fred and a better football player than McTominay. However, if in the manager's mind, you are a more advanced player, you are a number 10, and that position is held by Bruno Fernandes, you will bench. If you're so intelligent, right? If you're such an intelligent football player, you're supposed to realize, you know what? In training, let me not make them runs. Let me hold back, keep the ball, spread it around. Let me show them that I could do a 6 or a 8 better than Fred and McTominay. You know what happened? He'd get picked. When them fellas injured, he would get picked. But you're not going to take Cristiano Ronaldo. You're not going to take Mason Greenwood and drop him in the back to play with Fred and to play with Scott McTominay because Ronaldo and Greenwood are better footballers than Scott and Fred. You're not going to do that. It's the same way. If this guy has shown in training, I am at 10, I play best when I am advanced, why are they going to take him and put him in the back? We may say, yeah, run that experiment, but we not seeing training week in, week out. I don't think Donny Van De Beek wasn't given chances because he's not a good footballer. I think Donny Van De Beek wasn't given chances because where he is best suited, we have somebody in Bruno Fernandes already playing for the club who don't get injured and who don't run out of gas. Hence the reason you stay on the bench.
No, but Percy, you're wrong. You're wrong, Percy. It's Manchester United fault. You understand? We bring this starlet, this Ballon d'Or shortlist from Ajax. We bring him to Old Trafford and we can't give him a run, even if he already do nothing, or even if we already are surplus to requirements in that position. It is our fault as to why he's on the bench. Donny do nothing wrong. Donny do nothing wrong at all. So I don't know what you're getting on with.
But can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead, CJ.
All right. So, our next perspective I came up with when he said that the coaches and somebody say, well, he's supposed to not make them runs. But what if, like, okay, say for example, where I work, there are certain things that they would ask and they would say they would observe, man, see what they could find. I know vex if the coaching staff can't find anything, but the thing what I'm trying to say is this, right? Why don't they find something else or give him some advice? Because Donny Van De Beek is fairly young. Like, we're not going to say like he's this experienced veteran footballer. We have to look and say, sometimes my boss would look at me and in an example, she would see that I'm good at a certain position that already there, but she'll take certain elements of something else and merge it. So she'll be like, I know you're good at this position, but could you add it into this next position and see where I'm coming from? And they would find certain ways to make me understand a different role to the fact that I could play this role as well. So that gives me a next skill. So you make a player who is now good at two different positions and two different styles. That if Bruno is good, but I need something else, he becomes that something else. Could it be that the coaching staff can't do that? I'm not giving an excuse for Donny, but it's a nice perspective because
Question, CJ. What I understand is that you want Van de Beek to fill a void in a different location, in a different part of the field.
I mean, I think that makes sense. I mean, it shows that he's considered very versatile enough to do different things.
Yep.
Press, you want to say what you need to say. I'm muted.
Sorry. No, it don't make sense. You know why it don't make sense? Because we would say that because we want to see Donny Van De Beek play. Right? But if I was to tell you let's take we struggling for a CDM, right? Before, you know, under Ralph, Fred and McTominay seem to be doing okay. But before we
Right.
struggling for a CDM. And men was saying, take Lindelof and make him a CDM. Take
Hell, people were
Wan-Bissaka,
saying
make him a
Jones and became
CDM.
a CDM. All kind of
Men
thing.
was saying all kind of thing. And you know what we were saying? That is wrong. What kind of stupidness is that? Manchester United is a big club. Go and buy a CDM, right? Buy a CDM and put him there. Don't go and take men. So why, if it is the team sees Donny Van De Beek as more of an attacking player, they should take him and put him in the back in deeper role in midfield. Just for him to get a sweat. Do we expect Donny Van De Beek to look better being played out of position? You know, we say that the club has spoiled him, right? Because the club ain't giving him enough opportunities. Giving him opportunities in the wrong position. Do we think we're going to get the best out of the player by doing that?
No.
The only way the club could have given him opportunities was playing him in the 10 and putting Bruno on the bench. And I am telling you, if we did that, the same people who hashtagging free Donny and this and that would have been crucifying the manager, whoever the manager was that did that. They're going to be like, what? You could drop Bruno Fernandes. You know the output Bruno Fernandes was putting out to play Donny Van De Beek? No, nobody wanted to see that. It's just unfortunate. It's unfortunate. It's not just about the club not intelligent enough, the players not intelligent enough to play with Donny Van De Beek. It's just sometimes unfortunate. Is Donny Van De Beek talented? Yes. Is Donny Van De Beek a good player? Yes. He came to Manchester United at a time, at the wrong time. When we already had somebody who was playing in his preferred position, he was sold to us. Well, you know, Pogba is on the way out, so Donny will get playing time. Pogba is still here. Bruno is still here. Donny is on loan now because he was on the bench. Just bad timing. You know,
Fair
we want to
enough.
blame the club. We want to blame the player. Sometimes
Circumstances beyond your control.
things just don't work out. You know?
Okay, so looking forward in this situation, as you did mention, he is officially on loan to Everton, and we're looking at this from a two-sided place because now we also understood that Everton also acquired the services of one Dele Alli. So it becomes a new struggle for Donny Van De Beek now because if he was expected to play the number 10 now, Dele Alli comes in and would be one that you would expect to challenge Donny for that number 10 position, given the way Frank Lampard was probably going to want to set up. Now, the question is, with some foresight in mind here, should Donny Van De Beek be able to overcome this? Because we would think, you know, Everton is not necessarily of the level of Manchester United. But CJ, let me point this one to you. What would you consider a measure of success for Donny Van De Beek? Should he be able to be successful at this loan deal?
Honestly, besides more playing time, I think him being a main guy at the team, being the main factor, being the engine, to me, I think it's just a chance for him to finally show people, hey, this is what I can do, and no, I do not deserve to be benched, because he has to see this as a chance to finally show himself to the world that he could adapt to English football, that he could do more, that he could fight. Because it's not to say Everton is a terrible team. I mean, it's things to work with. He can work with that. I think he can work with it. I think if he really puts it there and puts his head down and actually says, you know what, I'm going to show people that I can do it. And he actually creates the difference, win, lose, or draw. Like people could say, hey, one thing we could say if Everton in winning or in losing, that Donny fella is the impact. So that's just how I think is a measure of success. Just for him to be an impact on the team.
All right. Chad, do you agree or do you see another factor that we could throw into this as regards like what would be considered a successful loan for Donny?
The only way Donny's loan is going to be successful is if Donny rip it up. He don't necessarily have to rip it up like when Jesse went to West Ham to say, you know, you score like, I think Jesse's record was something crazy, like 8 goals in 11 games and something like 9 assists or some kind of craziness like that, right?
Yeah, I think it's 8 goals, 6 assists or something like that.
You don't have to rip it that much, but he has to rip it up. And the reason he has to rip it up is because we complaining about the intelligence of Manchester United, and we happy that he going to Everton. Has anybody watched Everton play recently?
Not
Does
really, no.
Everton play the kind of 1-2 football and the kind of knocks and touches that Donny would like to play?
The last
I
time
don't
they
think
played that
so.
was I think was under Roberto Martinez, and they haven't played that in years.
That's a long time,
Yeah.
right? So Donny is going to have to do these exact same things we have been saying. He's going to have to pull Gray square and say, Gray, when I hit you that ball with you outside of my foot, I'm making the run. He's going to have to make relationships. He's going to have to do what it takes to make himself relevant in that Everton side, or he's just going to be good.
Okay.
And if he's okay, that is not going to be enough.
Okay.
He needs to do better than okay in that Everton side, because the talk is going to be, you didn't make it at Manchester, you didn't shine at Everton, you're not good enough for the Premier League. And I would hate to hear that happen. I don't want that to be the outcome. So I am
Right.
hoping that Donny rips it up in Everton.
Okay. So next question, and this one is going to be towards the ref. This might be a hard question for you to answer, given your passion about Van de Beek in a certain extent. Do you think, and do you, that Donny Van de Beek can be a success at Everton, can have a successful spell at Everton? Do you think he's good enough to be able to adapt to the playing style of Everton?
It is very hard. It's very hard. It will be very hard for him to do that. Being that especially Everton's midfield, is one, quick, and two, very physical. Andre Gomez comes to mind with that, with the physicality of
Alan,
Everton's fun.
Gray,
Decore.
The core, yeah. Everton's midfielders are bruisers because when they hit you, they hit you. I do not see that level of physicality coming out from Van de Beek, even though he's bulked up and everything like that. And he will be able to play the intricate passes. Him and Gray would link up. He would find Richarlison very easily. But once he could prove that he could have a physical presence in Everton midfield, that's half the battle for him at Everton. If he doesn't make it at Everton, he should leave England. He should leave England in the summer, because that would be a two teams, and Everton. I'll put Everton in the decent category. So you have one top tier category and one decent teams that it couldn't make it for a myriad of reasons. So I honestly, outside of my stance on him, I really do want Van de Beek to make it in England. I really do, and I don't want him to shine at a lower table club. It wouldn't make much. It wouldn't do him justice. It wouldn't do his skill level justice. And the other thing that would be seen as a success is that Everton, in their blue kit, when they warm up in a green bib. So if Van de Beek doesn't wear those green bibs and he's on the field, well then all right, cool, go. But when you're on the field, you have to be physical. You're a great ball winner. That's one of your talents. But you really have to get stuck in with the challenges, with the plays, with the physicality of our Everton midfield. Those are my concerns for Van de Beek going to Everton. On top of that, too, you have Dele Alli, who wants to fight back for his England spot, playing for an English manager. I quicker see Dele Alli getting back to the England team than Van de Beek getting to the Dutch team.
Yeah, it's gonna be a difficult next few months coming in here, because January's done. We're going into February. He's gonna be missing out on Champions League football. He's gonna be missing out on European football altogether. So it's really just an adaptation period for him as regards getting to the nitty gritty as regards like English football, because the kind of style Everton, like he said, is going to play is more physical. It's going to be more of a hard hitting style, and it's something
I
that
could see
say again, yeah, Chad, good.
I could see Donny being successful if Richard Erickson is out for a prolonged period of time and they play with 1 point man, so therefore they could have like 4 men in the midfield,
Hmm.
or even play three at the back and put five in the midfield.
Mm.
Once Richard Erickson and Calvin Lewin are playing,
Mm.
once they're playing two strikers, two front men, Donny's going to struggle to get into that team. He's going to struggle to get into that team because once they're playing two front men, they're going to want those bruisers in the middle. And Donny is
Yeah,
not that,
yeah,
and then they bought the Deli Ali. So,
yeah.
it's like,
Yeah, someone who's already
if,
pretty
if,
much
if
adapted to the Premier League
the
already.
more players they have could fit into that midfield, is the better it is for Donny to get a chance. That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
Once they're playing Calvert Lewin and Richard Harrison,
Richarlison.
Richardson is trouble.
Yeah.
I is trouble. But
Well,
let's see and let's hope for the best.
well, for Donny's sake, let's just hope Frank Lampard has a system set up where he and probably maybe even Dele Alli could excel together. You never know if there could be a budding midfield partnership between them that nobody would be necessarily expecting. And I want to just go to this comment that Jeffrey also made here. He said that United already did the damage, and I'm not, and I'm gonna take it away from Donny Van De Beek for a second here. I'm gonna take it away from Donny Van De Beek for a second because you've seen a lot of players come to Manchester United. Some have been successful, some have dropped off, and within this period now, we saw the winter transfer period where we've had more outgoings, we've had no incomings. We've missed on an opportunity to get a defensive midfielder for relatively cheap money. For many who don't know, we were linked with Dennis Zakaria, who Juventus paid an easy 5 million for. I get upset thinking about that ever so often. We had Boubacar Kamara being offered to us from Marseille. We rejected that, and Amadou Haidara, who was one of Ralph Rangnick's specific targets from RB Leipzig, I think he would have been available for around the line of like what 35 million or something like that. But in retrospect, maybe that could have ended up as another Donny Van De Beek situation. Who knows? Who really knows? But like I said, I want to focus on the fact that we were unable to bring in anybody to reinforce that position that we've so been desperately crying out for to replace the likes of Nemanja Matic, who we know his legs are not getting any lighter on him. The question I want to pose to you guys is this a bad sign of things to come? Because maybe suddenly playing for Manchester United is becoming no longer attractive for players. Is it not an appealing prospect for players coming forward, especially young talent or established stars? What's your take on it? Do you think this is just maybe this is something strategic from the board, or do you think this is a bad omen? CJ, let me start with you on that. CJ, you're muted. All right, so I'm muted. Good.
I don't think it's a bad omen. I think it's just that a lot of factors are making it harder for players to thrive. In that, when you really take it in, it's very difficult to really look at what helps players. And I feel like most of the time, what is not helping players is that there are things in place to give players a fair chance. So, for example, you okay?
No, we just got this comment
Sorry, I
from
was
Barbados
laughing at that
MUFC.
comment.
Yeah, the one I just posted on the on the screen there saying ref calls him back and out. He need a new pair of glasses.
Wow.
Uh,
Wow.
yeah, we've had individuals literally wearing sunglasses indoors doing this show. So I don't know what's going on here. Anyway, continue with your point, CJ.
So, like for me, right? I think most players haven't strived in United because I feel like sometimes we randomly pick players, but we don't want to put things in place, and it just doesn't work out. So, for good examples, we would like the deals like Zakaria and Kamaru. I think we didn't go for those deals because we didn't. We more look for players who would boost the market, that would sell shirts instead of actually being talented. So we don't go for anything special. Let's look at the names that people often say are duds at United, but when you look at it, they weren't duds. They just really didn't. weren't fitted in. Let's look at Dali Blind. Everybody calls
Oof.
Dali Blind a failure, but was Dali Blind used properly at United?
No, he
Yeah.
wasn't.
No, he wasn't. Look at people, and my example of us just taking some hype but not being able to account for the hype or even integrate it properly. Look at Morgan Schneiderlin. Morgan Schneiderlin was good at Southampton because it was a base that he worked with. I
Right.
think coming to United and then doing that made no sense, but it is what it is. So I feel like it's not that players is a bad omen. I think we just
Mhm.
buy players, but we don't go strategically into thinking like, hey, how is this player going to add to us? Hey, how does this player going to add to the current crop of other players? Because looking at the deals of men like Varane, you could see although Varane doesn't hasn't had much of playing so much, you could see the impact Varane has. He gives a lot of leadership in the back. He helps with cleaning up a lot of things. Let's look at guys who we've recently bought. Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes, if you look at how he plays, he kind of fits the club in that he's that dynamic player who really does play and is suited as a United player. Not because he's successful, but he really could do that. And we need to understand that we can't just buy any and everybody. If you play, it's not like FIFA. This isn't like FIFA. You can't just pick a man and say, hey, send that fella. No. We need to strategically buy players and not just buy players who we feel will make sense or who social media looks at because our scouting, I find our scouting it's a lot of big names, but we're not looking at the chemistry aspect of it. Because often people argue that is it that these players don't play well because they're not talented? I feel sometimes when these players don't play well, they don't have attributes that commend to each other,
Mhm.
is what I'm trying to say. So for me, I don't think it's a bad omen. I think we just have to put things in place and that's all.
Right. So we're just going. We're running time on time here. So President Chad, I just want to give you an opportunity to just ask this question. I mean, well, answer this question. The whole idea. I get the whole take of it being like we're turning into what Real Madrid were back in the early 2000s, like 2003, 2005, going
That's
through
the
a bit of a
legacy of Ed.
Galacticos. Yeah, going through the Galactico era, like bringing in players for big amounts of money to attract superstar names. And I believe it's come to a point where we've seen these names fail, and it has put a bitter taste in many Manchester United fans' mouth. Where do you think, with Richard Arnold's position now, where he's decided to leave, where do you think the people who are involved in the recruitment, what's the first thing you think they need to do as regards fixing this issue as regards what kind of players that we target?
Listen to Ralph and let the scouts earn their pay because Ed Woodward clearly was very instrumental in picking the players we bought when Sir Alex left.
Hmm.
You know, we went after the Demarias, we went after the Snyderlands, we went after players who had name recognition. Fred was probably the only player that we bought that was kind of under the radar. Wan Bissaka was considered one of the best defensive right backs in the league at the time when we bought him.
Up and coming, yeah.
Um, Harry Maguire was considered the best defender in England. You know, we don't we don't make stars. The provocateur Robert always says, Manchester United used to make stars. We talk about Ferdinand and Vidic, and we talk about Evra, and we talk about these guys. These guys were not household names when they came to Manchester United. They
Very
were
true.
not. They became household names at Manchester United. The Ryan Giggs of the world, the David Beckhams of the world. We made these people the Cristiano Ronaldos of the world. When are we gonna go back to buying sensible and making stars? That's what we need to do instead of just buying name brand. Now, I wanna um add to the comment that was put into the chat a little while ago. And it's
Be
simply
this one.
this. Um yeah. Jeffrey has a point in terms of us attracting talent, right? That there are sometimes players may be questioning whether they want to come to United, because we saw that happen at Barcelona. Barcelona were buying up midfielders. Once you were a creative midfielder, Barcelona was buying you up, spending crazy money behind midfielders. And what happened? Eventually, a lot of those guys ended up on the bench,
Yep.
and a lot of those guys ended up going to lesser clubs, and their career took a downward spiral. So, yes, the club has a responsibility to buy properly, but players also have a responsibility for themselves. It was Barcelona calling me, so I go in. When you look at that team, are you getting into that starting 11?
Mm-hmm.
Are you really going to be able to contribute and show your talent? If the answer is no, then you should have turned down Barcelona. And similarly, players also have a responsibility to monitor their career. They had to be. Look at Haaland. Haaland is going to pick the next team he wants to go to based on a structure, long-term structure. I
Right.
mean, yes, we know he have a greedy agent, but he also is looking to structure his career. When he could have made the big money move to Manchester United and be more in the public eye, he was like, nah, let me go to Dortmund. Dortmund is one step up from where I am now. I'm gonna get European football, and they have a way of developing talent. Look at Jude Bellingham. If Jude Bellingham came to Manchester United, he might have been playing in our under 23s. Now with Ralph, he might have get a look in. But when Ole really wanted him, do you think he was going to take an 18-year-old Jude Bellingham and bring him and put him in a starting lineup in Manchester United? I don't think so. But he get a start at Dortmund,
Very true.
So players also have a responsibility to kind of make
Understand their level.
good career choices for what is right for you. Again, Donny Van De Beek, remember Pogba was supposed to be on the way out.
True.
So he may have felt, based on what I'm hearing going on at Manchester, I will be able to shine in this organization. And it didn't work out, right? Things didn't go the way we thought they were going to go. But so I'm not accusing Donny of that. I'm just saying players on the whole need to make choices that they think are going to work for them.
And let's just hope that going forward now that we tend to try and see if we can turn away from that model and get back to where we initially were, our roots.
Ed is gone, and let's hope we give we give Ragnick the support, and I don't just mean as coach, but I mean as advisor, as technical director, that kind of senior position. Let's hope we give Ragnick the support that is needed to build this club up, the way it should be built.
Yeah, indeed, because right now the period that we're in now is disheartening, and it's very difficult to be a Manchester United fan, but you know what they say, sometimes it's always the darkest before the dawn. So hopefully this is a corner that's being turned in this direction, and we see better performances, we see better moves being made going forward in the future. What's left for this season is just, I think a lot of us, it's just hoping for good finishes, hoping for decent results, hoping that our Champions League run turns into something fruitful. But there's only so much you can really hope on without having something to become a reality. But for now, we just have to do our part to keep the red flag flying high and do our best to make sure that we're continuing going. So once again, President Chad, Darren, Ref, thank you. CJ, thank you for being a part of this show. Shout outs to Jeffrey, Roberts, Barbados MUFC, everybody who's tuned in and viewing. We will be back this Thursday on the United Hour from 6 p.m. Tune in and we will continue to discuss everything going on Manchester United-wise. Continue to like, share, subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments as you well do. And as always, President Chad would always love to say, Red Devils, we don't die, we multiply. Take care, everyone.
Hey, if you appreciate what we're doing here at the United Hour, please like, please subscribe, and let's grow this community.